I first want to start by asking you, what is the current status of the case with General Michael Flynn?
We are waiting for Judge Sullivan to dismiss the case with prejudice, as the law requires. We also filed a motion to recuse him, but obviously he's not going to grant that, or he would have done it immediately. So he's got to decide the motion to dismiss with or without prejudice. The law requires it to be with prejudice, but it remains to be seen what he's going to do. And it's been a long time now. It's been more than 2 weeks since the hearing, and it's been, I think, 144 days or so since the government moved to dismiss.
I still remember when that announcement came out. I believe it was May 7th of this year. I saw it breaking here on OAN. I remember when General Michael Flynn, he called into Rush Limbaugh's show. There was a lot of excitement in the air. We thought finally we're seeing some good progress on this front. And to your point, it's been at least 5 months or so since then, and you guys have been in the trenches there battling the judge, because now we see the DOJ and the defense, everyone said this matter settled, and now the Judge Emmett Sullivan, has almost inserted himself as the prosecutor almost in this case. So how are you guys handling this? How is the Flynn family doing with these highs and lows?
Well, they're doing very well. They're a family of remarkable strength and courage and faith. They have a lot of friends. We feel the prayers of millions of people from across the country, and we will keep fighting this until we win, if it requires going to the Supreme Court, because the law could not be more clear. And you're right, Judge Sullivan even filed a petition for rehearing en banc as if he were a party himself, and the court granted that, astonishingly enough, and reversed the panel opinion that had ordered him to dismiss it. It's been one remarkable turn of events after the other since the government moved to dismiss. And all that tells us is, well, it's giving the American people a huge education on how deep and wide the swamp is.
And so I saw that you recently at a hearing were saying that you spoke to the president and you asked for no pardon when it comes to this case. I want to get some of your thoughts behind why.
I think it's very important that our criminal justice system be made to work without requiring a presidential pardon. I mean, we have to be able to count on the system. Everybody can't get a pardon. It's just not a viable option. And it's important that our, quote, criminal justice system, end quote, work to exonerate innocent people, and that judges not be allowed to take on the mantle of a prosecutor. So at some point, the law itself in this case must be straightened out for the benefit of the country writ large.
And so when it comes, it just seems like the General Michael Flynn has been very unlucky when it comes to judges, because, correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember early on when he first submitted his guilty plea, and I believe under coercion there, the Judge Contreras, I believe who it was at the time, he later on had to recuse himself from the case, and it was found out that he was actually buddies. He was friends with Peter Strzok. And then, of course, now we have Judge Emmett Sullivan. He's a Clinton appointee, and he seems to be acting very biased in this case. Does this speak to a larger rot almost in D.C. and in our judicial system?
Yes, I think it does, and how politicized and weaponized the Obama administration in particular made our federal judiciary, along with every single federal agency. It's one of the things we have to recognize as we work very hard to reelect President Trump, because there's no chance of restoring the rule of law and maintaining our constitutional republic unless he is reelected.
So you have been able to get a lot of Brady evidence, a lot of exculpatory evidence in this case. What has been some of the most shocking evidence that you found so far?
Well, one of the things would be the notes of one of the higher-up FBI agents who actually thought about the conversation they had with Andrew McCabe overnight and went back to confront him again and saying, you know, what are we doing here, trying to get the truth or trying to see if we can catch him in a lie and prosecute him or get him fired? That they were even having that conversation is deeply concerning. And obviously they were trying to, quote, catch him in a lie or set him up for a lie. They did worse than that. They actually framed him for lying because they altered the FBI report of that interview until they put in statements that he did not say that they could then use for a false statement prosecution. It's really horrifying and should be terrifying to every single American, regardless of their political party, that our FBI could do something like this and take 4 years of a good man's life for a crime they made up from the beginning.